Hi, I'm Jerry Jacobs. I'm running for mayor of New Orleans. I'm number 23 on the ballot.
Mr. Jacobs, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, no problem. On behalf of NewOrleansBlack.com and the 60,000 people that are looking at this video right now, we want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
This is meant to be an interview, really to just get to know who you are. We want all of our candidates to be exposed to our audience and get a chance for them to expose what their interest is in the office that they see. Okay?
That's fine, but quite frankly, since we're New Orleanians, I'd like you to make sure that I understand about exposure, and I do not mean to expose myself.
Well, that's appreciated. So let's start with Mr. Jerry Jacobs. Who are you? Let's talk to us. Go back to childhood and bring us to the current. Who is Jerry Jacobs?
May I go before childhood?
You can go before childhood.
Okay. I had a grandmother born here in 1880. Her father, my great-grandfather, actually, as we all remember, New Orleans was one of the largest ports of entry. There was no Ellis Island. My family has been there continually and has been in New Orleans continually since then. I was born in 1943. I'm 66 years old. I was educated here in New Orleans, and quite frankly, I'm New Orleanian. If the people in the audience can see this jazz picture, a chance, that's me. There's no difference between me and those people, with the exception that I like jazz, I like New Orleans music, I'm constantly at jazz clubs, but obviously I'm not a player in that sense. I'm a player in other senses.
Well, look, you said you were educated here. Tell us a little bit about your education.
I was educated originally in Orleans Parish Public Schools.
Okay.
And then when I was in the 4th grade, my parents put me into the Newman School, which is a private school here that excels in academics. And from there, I went to a university out of state, which I thoroughly did not like. They did not know how to live New Orleanian. It was quite frankly, once in the fraternity house, and the cook went around, "What would you like to eat?" And I said, "Red beans and rice." And her response was, "Jerry, white folk don't eat that stuff." And I said, "Yes, I do. It's one of my favorites." And anyway, I returned home to Tulane, where I graduated from Tulane, and I was much more happy at Tulane because the Northerners who came in and the out-of-staters who came in learned how to be a New Orleanian.
That's right.
And I just thoroughly enjoy the city, and I haven't left other than military service. I was in the United States Coast Guard, but other than military service, I have not left the city. After Katrina, and I found this most interesting, I was back trying to take care of my personal matters. I had been living in St. Louis, and because of the tragedy of Katrina, I lived there for 11 months before I came home. An inner city minister on one of my trips home stopped me to ask him if I was returning home. And I said, "I don't know, I'm really upset about Katrina and confused and such." And he said, "Please come home. We need everyone to come home." And I thought about it. I do not know who that minister was. If I found his name, or if he sees this and recognizes me, I would appreciate him coming to me and giving me a hug, because I'm so happy, as rotten as things are right now, I'm so happy to have come back to New Orleans. That's where I am. I'm a New Orleanian.
That's beautiful. Let's talk about what's rotten and what you will do different as the mayor of New Orleans. Talk to us about, and again, knowing that this is a 60,000 person audience, the majority of this audience is African American, what's one of the issues that you want to take on that you believe directly affects this group?
Well, first of all, I'd like to challenge what you say, that I'm colorblind.
All right.
And you say this is majority African American. That means nothing to me. I don't mean that negatively.
I understand. You're saying you want to do things that affect the whole city regardless.
Well, the whole city is not a section of different faiths, cults, different people. It's the whole city is New Orleans, and whatever. I mean, I'm happy.
So let's talk about one of the initiatives. What you would consider one of your single most important initiatives?
Well, my most single important issue is providing the funds. People are complaining about the police department. I'm not. I have no idea how they're functioning as it is. They're so overwhelmed with what they're doing. They're so overburdened. They don't have enough people, and obviously they can't take care of enough. Same to the fire department. And I'll put this all together in a second. Fire department. People are complaining about potholes. Well, sure you have potholes. You don't have the money to fix it. You don't have the personnel to fix them. You don't have the machines to fix them. Also, everyone in the election except me says, I'm going to appoint a committee to do this. I'm going to appoint a committee to raise the educational standards. I'm going to squeeze the budget. Well, the budget can't be squeezed anymore. It's actually been pressed together with many thousands of pounds of aggravation. There is one answer to all of this, and that's increasing the business of the city of New Orleans.
Okay.
And that's why I go to marijuana. I'm not talking about heroin. I'm not talking about crack cocaine. And pardon my slurring, but I was in an automobile accident a few years ago.
Okay.
I don't have the elocution I used to possess. But all of this can be changed by increased revenue into the city. Now picture this. I was in Amsterdam, Netherlands, in Europe one time. The city is booming. The industries are booming. The tourist industry is booming. Everything is booming. They're booming so much that right outside, and I forget the name of the town, they're the flower capital of Europe, sending flowers all over Europe and even into New York.
Interesting. So back to this issue around marijuana. I remember on the debate you talked about that. Is that a viable funding source? And talk to us, because clearly for you to get into this race and that be one of your key issues, you must believe in that. Make it real for the people that are watching this video.
First of all, if anyone checks, I don't smoke grass, I don't use grass,
okay.
and I don't drink alcohol. And that's for many reasons, primarily medical reasons. As I mentioned from the automobile accident, I'm on 3 psycho drugs every day prescribed by a psychoneurologist, a neuropsychiatrist. Therefore, that would interfere with my bodily functions. But what's interesting is if you look at history, first of all, there was no reason for prohibition of alcohol during the 20s and 30s. Eventually, it was repealed. If you look at closer history, there were over 300,000 people at Woodstock, one of the greatest concerts in the world. There's reports of not one fight. The old story is if you get 3 people drunk, you can have at least 2 fights. Point number 1. Point number 2, recently, I'm a fan of Law & Order TV show. Recently, Chris Maloney, who is one of the lead on Law & Order SVU, he is Elliot Stabler. People may not know this. He is now running, with NBC's expense, continually advertisements that say, I'm Chris Maloney, and I want to let you know, please don't drive while drinking. Please. Driving while drinking is a big cause of deaths, accidents, and problems. More importantly, alcohol is a greater addictive drug than drugs, smoking, etc. Now this is on national NBC. They've done their research. And marijuana is not addictive. If marijuana is legalized, you're going to find that the police will not be overburdened. There'll be tremendous tourism coming into the city, more employment, helping out the unemployment situation, the restaurants, the hotels, the service. It's just, and it's not addictive.
All right. So we're in our last minute. Okay. So I'm going to ask you something on the way out and give you a chance to respond and also ask people for your vote. Talk to us a little bit about just economic development in the city in general, and maybe there's marijuana as an answer, but talk to that and then close out with our audience, and we appreciate your time.
Okay, marijuana is not the only answer. What the answer really is money coming into the city for development, increasing the hotels, advertising, the tourist industry, money to help the police force. Also, if you talk to judges, criminal district judges, you're going to find that approximately 80% of the judicial system is blocked, is totally cramped up by, I spoke to a fellow at the health club. He said that he was in the holding cell for 12 hours because he had 1 joint.
Wow. All right. So remind people who you are and what you're running for.
I'm Jerry Jacobs. I'm running for mayor of New Orleans. My ballot number is 23. I hope that you not only will consider me, but I hope you will vote for me, because I think I can make tremendous changes for the better in New Orleans. Thank you very much.